Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the February 10th, 2025 Fayetteville City Council meeting to order. With that being said, I'd like to welcome everybody, and I would like to welcome Pastor Malik Jefferson up to the podium, please, from Mount Hebrew Zion Church, AME Zion Church. If everyone could please stand.
See you.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, before we ask you for anything, we first stop to say thank you for everything. Thank you for your grace, your mercy, and your love that is never ending. Well, God, we are standing here today because we're asking for prayer as we continue moving forward in this nation, God. Let your presence be felt in this business session right now, God. Let whatever decisions and ideas are made tonight, God, be with mindset knowing that it is affecting your people, God. Allow us to understand that you are still on the throne and that you are still in charge and you still have all power. Let us fill you in here right now. Touch our local officials right now, God. Give them the understanding that there is one God and you are still high and lifted up. We give your name glory. We give your name praise and honor. And the name that only matters, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Come on back
Pastor
up.
Jefferson, would you like to come up and tell us a little bit about your church and where
Yes.
you're located and all the good things?
Awesome. My name is Malik Jefferson. I am the proud and happy pastor of the Mount Hebrew AME Zion Church. We are located at 6830 Ramsey Street, just past Goodyear. And I have been there all of a few months, but since being there, the impact has been felt in our community. We are now launching what's called the Brew Academy. It is an after-school program at the Pine Forest Middle School, helping them as they continue to cultivate our young people and our next generation. So if you're ever in the area, we would love for you to come by and visit us. And we have service at 10 a.m., Bible study at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, and Sunday school at 8:45.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And welcome to the North Side. All right. Our next thing we have going up, I'd like to call our clerk of court, Jennifer Ayer. City clerk. I'm sorry. Why did I say that? I would never do that. You know that. So Andrea Tebby is coming up. Today we have something very special to us up here that Andrea Tebby, that used to work for us too here at the city, is going to present the oath of office to our city clerk, Jennifer Ayer, with her beautiful children.
We're trying to wrangle. Are you ready? Yes. Repeat after me. I, Jennifer L. Ayer,
I, Jennifer L. Ayer,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as city clerk for the city of Fayetteville,
as city clerk for the city of Fayetteville,
North Carolina, so help me God.
North Carolina, so help me God.
Oh, yeah. Say something. Say something.
It's a little loud. Anywhere?
Yep. whichever you'd like. Apparently, I'm not,
It's not happening.
it's not happening.
We'll fix it.
Yep. Huzzah. There we go.
So a little fun fact about Miss Ayer. For those of you that did not know that she went and got her NPA as she was working full-time here at the city of Fayetteville and raising children and having her husband going from place to place. He's in the Army. So you are a testament to all of us that it can be done if you just keep working yourself and just keep moving.
Thank you. So I'd like to say that I am deeply grateful and honored of the trust you've placed in me as being the next city clerk for the city of Fayetteville. I'm committed to serving with the highest standards of integrity and dedication to you and to our community. I'd like to also express my sincere thanks to Pam. If she's watching, I hope not, you're retired, for your unwavering belief in me. And providing me with the opportunities that have allowed me to grow and develop within my career here at the city. To my husband and my children, thank you for your patience and all of the late nights and for your constant love and support that you guys have given me. And lastly, I would like to thank my parents who I know are watching the live stream right now from Texas, cheering me on, for instilling in me the drive and the passion to continually grow and pursue my goals. I'm excited to continue working with each of you throughout our tenure here all together, and thank you once again for this incredible opportunity.
Congratulations. Okay, we will wait for her to get back up. Councilmember Hondros?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I would just like to make everyone aware February is Heart Awareness Month. Since 1964, February has been designated as Heart Health Month by the federal government and the American Heart Association. It's just a reminder that heart disease affects everyone of all ages, so take care of your heart health early. This campaign is designed to raise awareness for cardiovascular health, which is known as a leading cause of death in the world. The American Heart Association has designated February to educate everyone on the importance of heart health and how to prevent it. Thank you.
Thank you. Without seeing any other announcements, I will go down to the podium and we will have the solid waste mascot winners. Councilmember Banks McLaughlin?
Running a few minutes behind, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. So let's go to, we'll just move on to the National Engineers Week. We could get Public Service Department Engineering Division in honor of National Engineers Week. Do we have any representatives here?
There they are. Where's my proclamation?
So I always kid to Sheila that I'm a engineer. I feel in my head sometimes, but these are the professionals.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm waiting on my mic to become hot, and we will move forward. Okay, there it is. Thank you. And this is a proclamation from the City of Fayetteville's Mayor's Office. And whereas engineers utilize their scientific and technical expertise to innovate and address both the current and future needs of Fayetteville's citizens. And whereas engineers face the significant technological challenges of our time, from rebuilding communities divested by natural disasters and cleaning up the environment, to developing and maintaining safe sustainable and efficient infrastructure such as roads and bridges and dams and sidewalks, storm water systems, environmental improvements, and the traffic solutions that will drive our city's future progress. And whereas engineers inspire the next generation of local talent to explore technical fields, realize the practical impact of their knowledge, and consider the valuable opportunities to serve the community through municipal careers. And whereas we will increasingly look to engineers and their knowledge and skills to meet the challenges of 21st century. And whereas the week of February the 16th, 2025, Saturday, February the 22nd, 2025, will be celebrated nationwide as National Engineers Week. Now, therefore, I, standing in for Mayor Mitch Colvin, the mayor of the city of Fayetteville, North Carolina, on behalf of the council, do hereby proclaim February the 16th through the 22nd, 2025 as National Engineers Week. And witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and have caused the official seal of Fayetteville, North Carolina to be affixed this third day of February 2025, and that is signed by our mayor, Mitch Colvin. Way to go, engineers.
If we ever have another hurricane, which we pray we don't, when we had 2 in 2 years, these are the first people on site. And I can tell you, when it did happen, they were in their cars making sure that we were all safe. So thank you. I think next we will go to the 71st Falcons.
Yes, I would like to have my colleague Derek Thompson and Courtney as we share the high school together in our districts for the high school students. You can go ahead.
So before we get started, I have to say that, I'm assuming it was you, when they come out of, when you play football, so I always say once a football mom, always a football mom. For the past 2 years, they have carried the Fayetteville flag, and I applaud you for that, and I thank you for that because it means a lot for us that are from Fayetteville, that y'all represent us so well. Thank you. Are you reading?
Lynn has.
Okay.
Thank you. Whereas the 71st High School Falcons have demonstrated an unparalleled level of excellence during their recent season, achieving a perfect 40-0 record and winning 2 3A East Regional Championships. And whereas the Falcons have not only excelled on the field, but have also garnered the attention of collegiate programs with numerous college offers reflecting the skill and talent of the team. And whereas over the past 4 years, the 71st High School Falcons have solidified their status as the most successful 3A football program in the state with an extraordinary record of 56 wins and 3 losses. And whereas the team's accomplishments have been driven by 11 dedicated seniors whose leadership and commitment have set a standard of excellence that few teams achieve. And whereas the Falcons have proudly secured 4 consecutive United 8 conference titles, demonstrating consistent dominance and excellence throughout their seasons. And whereas the Falcons recently celebrated their 50th playoff victory, a milestone that highlights their sustained success and legacy as a premier high school football program. And whereas the achievements of the 71st High School Falcons reflect not only their exceptional athleticism and dedication, but also the support of their coaches, families, and community who have stood behind them every step of the way. Now, therefore, I, Mitch Colvin, Mayor of the City of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and on behalf of the City Council and our 208,000 residents, do hereby honorably proclaim this 27th day of January 2025 as 71st High School Falcons Day.
Thank you for really making the difference. We need to get those codes. So I'm going to let Mr. Green, are you Coach Green? Okay. Assistant coach. Okay. Assistant, there. Principal. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I am Travis Green. I'm the vice principal at 71st High School, and I have the other opportunity to be the athletic director as well. So we want to thank Mayor Mitch Colvin in his absence, City Council for the recognition. As always, as she said, we love to support Cumberland County schools as well as Fayetteville anytime we step on the field. It is our responsibility to uphold the standard as Coach Mack has laid out for our team, both academically and through their athletic ability. Again, thank you, and we appreciate you guys for the recognition.
Is Miss Ruby Billups here? If I could get you to come down. Okay. And Councilmember Hare will meet you at the podium.
Council, I was just telling Ms. Billups, did she know in audience, come close to me, Ms. Billups, if she was aware that she was coming forward tonight? You have several people at your job that love you, that reached out to me to recognize you on your retirement, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you are retiring from where?
Fort Bragg Hospital.
30 years, is it?
34 years civil service and 10 years military.
All right. So 43.
44.
44 years. Come on, y'all. Let's give it some. Yeah. Well, I received this call and email. I can't remember the person's name, and they just wanted to recognize you. And I said, of course, I would love to do it. So on behalf of my colleagues here, this is a certificate to Miss Ruby Billups, correct?
Yes, sir.
In recognition, appreciation of 30-plus years of dedication in federal service, your unwavering commitment and professionalism, and outstanding contributions. And this comes from me and my fellow colleagues, and thank you. I know you got a new phase you're getting ready to start now in this retirement, so thank you. I submit this certificate to you, and our official city coin that has all of my colleagues and I name on the back. Now, when hard times come, you can't take this out and spend it because it can't be used at any store, but it's a beautiful, beautiful token of thanking our residents for the great things that they do, okay? Yes, we're going to take a photo, and if you would like to say hello to anyone and thank you, you'll be able to do that, okay? Yes. So let's just turn around here. You open up your Open that up. Come a little close, don't be afraid. Okay. Would you like to respond? There you go. It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to thank you. It's been my honor serving the government and the military both. Been all around the world, to include Iraq. So, yeah, I have lots of stories. But I want to thank each and every one of you for this. It means a lot.
Thank you so much for your service. All right, I'm going to come down to the podium, and we are going to talk about our Solid Waste Division mascot contest.
Have some here to read? Okay.
All right, so I think we're waiting a little bit for our contestants, so I'm going to let Councilmember Banks McLaughlin go ahead and read so everybody can hear about what our contest is all about.
Okay. Fayetteville Solid Waste Division Mascot Contest. The City of Fayetteville Solid Waste Division is thrilled to recognize 10 finalists, including the winner of the Solid Waste Mascot Contest this evening. We would like to extend our heartfelt thank you to the 42 students who submitted their creative visions of what solid waste mascots should be. Every single entry was imaginable, unique, and showcased the incredible passion our students have for helping keep our city clean. Tonight, we are proud to honor our top 10 finalists. All finalists will receive exclusive goodie bags filled with exciting perks, including tickets to the Marksman hockey game, tickets to the Woodpeckers baseball game, Sky Zone, jump passes, and more. Additionally, the winner will be rewarded a $500 educational scholarship. Please join us at the front as I call your name. Brooke Mahan. And please forgive me if I pronounce the names wrong. Ethan Alines. Junan M. Maudie Elting. Miles Walter Johnson. Sandy Jong. And Stella Finney. Aw. Each of you have done an outstanding job, and we truly appreciate your hard work and creativity. Now we would like to take the moment to announce our top 3 winners. In third place, we have Megan Moshman. In second place, Bradley Wallace. And finally, the moment we've been waiting for. The winner of the Solid Waste Mascot Contest, who has given us the mascot that will represent our solid waste division. The winner is Iris Niang. With her Yes, with her creation, Spiffy, like that. So on behalf of the Solid Waste Department, we want to thank you all once again for your fantastic work.
All pictures together. There we go.
Come on over, y'all. Just don't inhale my air.
Three, two, one. But this way, please. One more time. 3, 2, 1.
Great job.
Before we all sit down, can we take a minute and have them tell us which school that they go to, which school they represent? Would that be okay? That be okay with everybody? So come on, let's come. Just speak in here and tell us where you go to school.
My name is Iris, and I go to Berean Baptist Academy.
My name's Stella, and I go to Stony Point Elementary School.
How old are you, Stella?
9. I'm 9 years old.
Very good. With great pink boots.
My name is Miles. I go to Pine Forest High School. I am 15 years old.
Go Trojans.
My name is Brooke. I go to Berean Baptist Academy. My name is Sandy Jung, and I go to Terry Sanford High School.
My name is Bradley Wallace, and I go to Westover High School.
My name is Megan Moshman. I go to Highland Middle School.
My name is Ethan Alenis, and I go to Jack Brett High School.
My name is Madi Eltin. I go to Encore Academy.
Thank you very much. And here's our future leaders of the city of Fayetteville, we hope. Thank you.
We appreciate all of your entries. My name is Daniel Edwards. I'm the assistant director. I'm over solid waste. This is my she disappeared. My director, she's over all public services, which we are the division of. And we just want to thank you guys for all of your submissions. They were awesome. They were awesome. A panel of us picked them out. It was difficult. That's how good they were. And I really appreciate all that you're doing to help us get the message out to save our environment. Come on, can we give them one more hand, please? Great job, guys. Great job.
So Councilmember Banks McLaughlin had a great idea. Is that that's not the original, is it? It is. Can we get her to sign it? Before she leaves tonight, let's make sure that we get a picture of her signing it, and maybe we can hang it up in City Hall somewhere. Great idea, Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. Again, thank you so much. Our future looks very bright. go. Perfect. Yeah, let's get it done. So, city manager, solid waste, how many households do we provide solid waste?
Over 63,000 on the.
63,000 homes a year. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. One more picture. All right, thank you so much. Okay, with that being said, I will go over to the city manager's report.
Yes. Thank you guys so much, so much. Thank you for everything. It's beautiful artwork. Mayor Pro Tem and council members, it's not very often that we get to have such enthusiastic young people here who have shared their talents with the city. So to them and all of the family members, some of whom are former employees as well, I say thank you so much for sharing their talents with us tonight. Really, two things. One, I'll make myself, and the other, I'll ask Assistant City Manager Jody Phelps to come up in a moment. But I wanted to remind the council and the public that tomorrow we'll be meeting at the Gilmore Recreation Center for the council's annual retreat for 2 days, and trying to get the exact time that we need to be there tomorrow. But I think we will be setting up at about 8 o'clock, and the retreat starts at 9 o'clock as well for 2 days. And I would ask Jody Phelps to come forward for some introductions of two important new employees.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. So last month, ACM Yates provided you a really comprehensive update on activity related to the Office of Community Safety. And I'm pleased tonight to introduce to you our two newest staff members. They just started last week, so they're still getting their feet wet, and we're overwhelming them with all of the information. And I'm going to ask them to come up here and be publicly introduced to you and publicly introduced to our community. So if you all would come on up. You all may know them. They have been longstanding members of our community already, so they understand Fayetteville, they understand our city. They understand, and they've been paying attention and listening to the conversations you as a council have had. So Nichelle Gaines comes to us with an extensive background from JCPC, from the county. So she understands very well some of the youth issues that we are addressing and discussing. And then Orlando Smith also comes over with an extensive case management background in the mental health, homelessness, unhoused community side, and the two of them will be taking over the reins of some of the program development as we move forward with the Office of Community Safety. So Nichelle Gaines is going to be filling the role of the Community Safety Manager position, and Mr. Smith is going to be taking on the Community Impact Supervisor role. So I'm going to step aside and let them introduce themselves to you quickly.
Good evening. I wasn't prepared to say anything. As stated, I'm Nichelle Gaines. I come from the county under the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, and it's an honor to be in this position to work with our citizens here in the city of Fayetteville and our youth.
Good evening, Council. And neither was I prepared to speak, but I'll just say my name is Orlando Smith. My last role was with the county as a social worker with the Department of Public Health under the guidance of Dr. Jennifer Green. I am originally from Fayetteville and returned here about 4 or 5 years ago. This is an honor for me to be able to serve the citizens of the city of Mount Bringing, and I look forward to working with Nichelle and with you, all of you, and all of our citizens to fulfill this very urgent need that we have in our city. So thank you for the opportunity.
So before I move on, I do have an announcement that did want to announce that February is Black History Month. And for those of you that were not able to come out to the Martin Luther King Parade this weekend, we had great weather. We had a great turnout, and it was a lot of fun. So it is Heart Month too, but it is also Black History Month, and we would like to make sure that we acknowledge that. So thank you. Okay, if I could get an approval of the agenda. Motion. Councilmember Benavente made a motion. Can I get a second? Are we using buttons?
Yes. I second.
Okay, I'm not seeing it on the screen, that's why. Okay. Can I call for a vote? I think something's wrong with mine. Okay. Well, we'll give you, you're doing great. You're doing great. So what we will do, we can use our hands if it's working? Okay. All right. Great job. All right. That is unanimous with those present. Thank you. All right, with that, we will go to the public forum. Per City Council Policy 120-9, this is a time that residents may have an input and voice in what goes on in their city. The public forum will last no more than 30 minutes. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes to address the City Council on issues related to City of Fayetteville. No time will be yielded to any other speaker by another speaker. Individuals wishing to speak at tonight's public forum should have signed up at the office of the city clerk no later than 5 p.m. on that day of the meeting. When the city clerk calls your name, please approach the podium and clearly state your name and residential address for the record. When the light is located on the podium changes from green to yellow, you have 30 seconds left to speak, and when the light changes to red, your time has expired. Any remaining speakers on the public forum list that did not get an opportunity to address the City Council will have the option to have their name placed at the beginning of the next scheduled public forum list of speakers. I do not think that will be an issue tonight. So with that being said, I will go to the city clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem, we have 5 speakers this evening. Our first speaker is Ms. Calista Cuevas.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Do I just speak?
Just keep.
Okay. Good evening. I'm here tonight because I have great faith in this council's commitment to the values that make our city strong. Values like free speech, civic engagement, and fairness. I believe that each of you understands and respects the First Amendment and would never willingly allow policies to be put in place that infringe on these rights. That's why I'm here, to bring to your attention an issue that I'm confident you will take seriously and work to correct. As you know, the Cool Springs Downtown District operates under a contract funded by taxpayer dollars to manage and sustain downtown Fayetteville as a vibrant center of artistic, cultural, and civic and commercial activity. Their stated mission includes promoting civic participation. However, their current policy bars political and religious organizations from participating in Fourth Friday events. In fact, they've gone so far as to refuse to even accept an application from Sandhills Republican Women in Action. Not deny, but refuse to even accept an application. I do not believe this city council would have knowingly endorsed such a policy. Fayetteville is a city that encourages civic involvement and values free speech. Denying a group the ability to engage in voter recognition, civic education, or community outreach at a public event when funded by taxpayer dollars is a direct violation of those principles. Some might claim that Cool Springs is a private entity. It is not bound by the First Amendment. However, Cool Springs does not operate in a private capacity. They're funded by the City of Fayetteville and authorized by the city to manage these events. They would not have the ability to hold these functions without the council's approval and taxpayer funding. That means they're operating as state actors, and as such, they must uphold constitutional protections, including the right to free speech and equal access. What is particularly concerning is the inconsistency in how these policies are applied. While our organization is barred from even submitting an application, other groups with clear political agendas and advocacy-focused missions, such as Fayetteville Pride and Planned Parenthood, have been allowed to participate. Let me be clear, I'm not asking for these organizations to be removed. Quite the opposite. I fully support their right to be present. What I'm asking for is fairness. All community organizations, Republican or Democrat, religious or secular, should be permitted to engage in public discourse at taxpayer-funded events. No organization should be excluded simply because of its viewpoint. I have no doubt that had these issues been brought to your attention sooner, you would have taken immediate action. That is why I'm bringing this matter to you now with full confidence you'll take it seriously. I respectfully urge the city to review the terms of the downtown management contract to ensure all organizations promoting civic engagement and community participation are allowed to participate in publicly funded events like Fourth Friday. And please require Cool Springs to amend its policies to comply with constitutional protections.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, our next speaker is Ms. Venus de la Cruz. Our next speaker is Mr. Sean McMillan.
Excuse me, for the record, do we need to get her, she didn't state her name or address. Do we need to do that for the record? Did you have that?
I do have that. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, council. I want to start off by recognizing the passing of...
Okay, let's state our name and address, please.
Sean McMillan. Y'all know I'm from Fayetteville. I want to start by recognizing the passing of Reverend Dr. Nelson Johnson of the Beloved Community Center in Greensboro, North Carolina. He was a pillar of the activist community here in North Carolina and a movement elder who was recognized nationally for his leadership and lifelong dedication to liberatory social justice work. Our prayers are with Mrs. Joyce Hobson Johnson and all members of his expansive family. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Ubuntu. Reverend Johnson saw storm clouds of white supremacy and Christian nationalism gathering last year, and he described this moment as a time of great peril, but also of great opportunity. We've seen the peril in just the first few weeks of the current presidential administration. We know that for the next 4 years, we can expect sustained attacks against poor and working class people, Black and brown people, trans people, immigrants. So many of the people you all are charged with serving, and the people we call our neighbors, are now being threatened, criminalized, and erased. So how will this city respond? In line with repeated calls for moral leadership from this body, we ask you to consider the following opportunities for action. Since last Monday, dozens of people have gathered down the street at the marketplace to show solidarity with our immigrant neighbors. Last April, this council split 4-4 on a resolution in support of immigrant communities. Let's get that back up for a vote and stand firm on a commitment to all of our residents, especially those who are under attack. On February 22nd, we will gather at Crossroads Church on the north side of town to attend the State of Systemic Racism in Cumberland County, an event hosted by the nonprofit Organizing Against Racism in Cumberland County. Please show up to the event, but don't just show up. Please do that and return to this building with the long overdue work of addressing systemic and repeatedly documented racial disparities in policing here in Fayetteville. Last year, Supreme Court opened the path for criminalizing the unhoused. The city council unfortunately enacted a no camping ordinance that greased the skids for a moral criminalization of people who deserve a handout. This should be the year that the council repeals the inhumane no camping ordinance. And As the nation careens deeper towards peril, we look to the City Council to ensure that this city does everything in its power to uphold and promote policies that value humanity.
Thank you.
All of us are.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, our next speaker is Mr. Jose Cardona.
Good evening, Mr. Cardona.
Good evening, Madam Pro Tem, ladies and gentlemen of this council. Gentlemen, my name is Jose I. Cardona. I live at 233 Addison Street in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I have lived here in Fayetteville over 55 years and going strong. Today, I come to talk to you about dead on arrivals. Gentlemen, DOA is a very, 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 very sad problem in this city. We have one of the most biggest hospital located in Owen Drive and Village Drive. There's nothing wrong with this place except you check in, you cannot check out. You arrive dead before you even get to the doctors. I got a problem with that. My problem is we have spent millions of dollars. They took it over, Cumberland County, and everybody got their hands on this thing. Well, right now, not even one of you could tell me how many people died last year arriving into the hospital. I counted over 10 people. I tried to go on the search engine. They sent me to the Cumberland County for whatever reason. They said 40 people have died. I have the solution to this problem, if I may. I have been into places with the hospital, main hospitals. They go on the ground, and they come on the other side of town, wherever they're going. I've been in cities where the blind people actually have a place that they could touch with their feet and walk all over the town. I'm not concerned with that. DOA, simple solution. We need to make American freeways, since most of the time that's where they come from, Fort Bragg, Spring Lake, make another lane, a fast lane, a speed lane just for the emergency personnel, to include, gentlemen, the fire department, the police. They're trying to get to save somebody's life so they don't be in the ambulance. Sad but true. We need to do something, a simple lane. It could be all the way from down Eastern Boulevard, up this way. It doesn't matter. You could have 10 helicopters out here too. If you don't use them, they're worthless. Cost millions of dollars just sitting there in the parking lot. DOA, dead on arrival. I don't want to be one of those ambulances when they're trying to come in the busy at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, and that siren is going off, and somebody got a boombox going full blast, and they don't hear the ambulance. They don't hear the fire department. Gentlemen, it's sad for me to see somebody die in vain. It could be you. It could be me. It could be one of my family members. Please do something about the DOAs. And I'm not going to mention the hospital. But at the same time, I'm also going to mention incentives for these people that work in that hospital. Why are they different than the one in Hope County? Our people here should be getting paid more than anybody else, to include the nurses and the doctors. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, our final speaker is Mr. Eric Nelson.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Eric Nelson. I live at 1935 Culpeper Lane. And what I came to talk about doesn't sound as serious as some of the other things, but it's very serious to our neighborhood. I happen to be blessed with living in Rayconda subdivision, which I've lived for the last 17 years, which many of you probably know about. Derek Thompson is one of my neighbors, and it's a beautiful neighborhood. Absolutely one of the nicest neighborhoods in the entire Fayetteville, and maybe with the lowest crime rate of all of Fayetteville, where all the people there live together and help. But what we had a problem was in 2016, we had Hurricane Matthew come through. We had the road washed out completely, and there was an issue with a dam. Fayetteville came up with a solution. They said there would be no longer a dam, and they would refix the road. They did refix the road, but they did a very quick, we'll say somewhat haphazard job. 4 months later, after the road was fixed, Fred Rivera, who was the HOA president of Rayconda subdivision at the time, made complaints because there was a 1-year warranty. The pipe, the 48-inch pipe underneath it where the water was running through, was already starting to erode, and they didn't properly pack the road, nor did they put riprap on the road in order to keep water from damaging it. Well, we had Tropical Storm Debbie come through approximately 7 months ago. Many of you saw it on the news. In fact, it was covered nationally. My brother called me from California telling me about how he saw the road washed out in our subdivision. As far as I know, it is the only road in the subdivision that is washed out and has a 15-foot deep by probably 20-foot wide chasm in it. A road that's perfectly good and also limits us to one access, which we suffered through after Hurricane Matthew, where we literally took a jogging path and had to put guards on both ends of it, and the neighbors let one car at a time come through for approximately 2 months till that road was fixed. I understand there's litigation right now in regards to whether there's a dam or not a dam. I'm not here to speak about that. I'm here simply to speak about we have a road literally dividing a neighborhood in half that could be repaired. The first time they repaired it, they spent approximately 4 days doing it. It's a road that Fayetteville built, put the culvert in, and it did not last. I think it's Fayetteville's responsibility to fix the road that they built. I'm not asking about anything with the dam, the litigation with the dam. I'm simply asking that we fix the road so people can go from one side of the neighborhood. If a tree falls down, something happens, that emergency vehicles can actually get in their neighborhood. Fayetteville went to the expense of building us 2 access points, and it makes only sense that a very short repair, a repair that can be done probably in less than a week, is not done now to fix that road. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have no further speakers.
Thank you. So we are going to move to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion? Councilmember Green, I'll go to you.
I have an item, Mayor Pro Tem, that I would like to pull, item 8.0A2.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, the consent agenda excluding 80A2?
So moved, Mayor Pro Tem.
All right. Can I get a second? All right. I'll look for you for your vote. All right, that is unanimous with those present. All right, Councilmember Green, I'll go to you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I have a couple of questions, and I really wanted this to be just discussed in open session because of the so many questions I've been receiving from some of my constituents and taxpayers. So if you'll just give me just a couple of minutes of your time tonight. This item came before us to move $1.9 million in the tennis court project. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. And we're just being asked by staff to move $1.9 million from monies that, if you remember, several months ago were in a fund of unfinished projects. And it just becomes additional monies to complete the project that falls under the Parks and Recs bond project. We did have a situation come up, and I do have one question of the city attorney. Can you give us an update on the status of the surety company and the bond situation?
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Green. So the city did file a lawsuit against both of the purported sureties and their majority or sole owners. We have service on all but one of our defendants on that. The surety companies or purported sureties have not performed their obligations under the bond, so the city is still carrying the price tag on this one for now.
Thank you, Ms. City Attorney. In follow-up to that, I have some concern. I asked the question upstairs, and I know that that's during our dinner meeting about the 1.9 and how that divides out and what exactly that is. I was given an answer to that upstairs in the way of information from staff, and I appreciate that extensively. Our staff always goes above and beyond to try to help us make decisions, but just due to the lateness of the hour and not getting that information till tonight, through no fault of anybody's, just that's how it occurred. I just haven't had time to digest that. So I don't know if there's anything that the Assistant City Manager, Lindsay, would like to add. I don't really have any questions. I haven't been able to review this in the extent that I would like to. So based on that, I would just like to make a motion. There are just some things that, if you'll remember, during the conversation about the city fire department, I asked that we not make rush decisions about that project based on unknowns and not moving money too quickly because of just the appearance. I would rather move money when we know exactly what we're moving it for, exactly the amount that's needed. We do have a new contractor on site. You'll remember that this council approved M&E Contracting to finish that work. They have been on site. They are working. Part of this request comes behind a change order. I have no issues with any of that other than I just have not had time to review this because of the lateness of which I received it. So I would just like for this to be tabled. I would like to make that in the form of a motion to table it until our meeting on February 24th, which is 2 weeks, so that we all as council have time to do our fiduciary responsibility in reviewing the extent of what this 1.9 million means and what it means to the project. Because this takes the project from a $6 million project to an almost $8 million project, and we're not exactly sure what that covers. So that's the basis for my request. I want to have transparency. I hear from the public and the taxpayers that they want transparency, and for me, this is an effort in that extent.
Thank you, Councilmember Green. So
Thank you.
Would you restate your motion one more time?
My motion is to table this matter and place it on the agenda for February 24th, 2025.
And I have a second by Councilmember Benavente and discussion by Councilmember Hare.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Assistant City Manager, oh, there you are, Adam. Thank you. As I asked upstairs, and so it can be publicly heard, holding or tabling this item to February, well, before I even go to that part, let me ask you this. The $1.9 million that has been requested in the amendment, because I have an issue if it's coming from the fund balance. Please explain where the 1.9 million would be coming from in this amendment.
It would be okay. I would brought up our
Mr.
Mr. Yates to answer that
City,
with his
Assistant
financial
City
acumen.
Manager Yates. He's our money guy.
It's a
Thank you,
question,
sir.
Councilman. Thank you. The funding, the $1.9 million that we are proposing to be added comes from the leftover funds from other park bond projects, bond premium funding, and also interest earnings from that fund. If you'll keep in mind, this is different from your fund balance in the general fund, which is tied to your policy level of 10% and your goal of 12%. This funding is dedicated to the Parks and Rec bond projects. So it's an appropriate use then to use that for the tennis center.
And what problems, as I asked upstairs, and what problems would occur, if any, if we table this until February the 25th, what issue would that cause us with the project moving forward? Because as far as I understand, there are boots on the ground, construction in the progress presently on this particular item.
Correct. So money's been appropriated, a contract awarded to M&E that is already underway. They've already begun working on the tennis center building. So tabling tonight or delaying that decision is not going to impact that. That work is moving forward. What the ask tonight is to allow us to add money to that project, which would enable us to complete the work that was previously started by the general contractor that walked off the site. Any delay is simply a time impact because, as M&E has told us, they are excited and able to bring on these remaining components and believe they can deliver the entire tennis center project before fall, so really within August. So time is the only question here. If delay, it just gets them started a little bit later on those other components, but it's not going to stop them from working on the tennis center, which they've already begun.
And if you would just speak a little louder on the proposed completion date, if we're moving forward, we're looking for the tennis courts and what's the other court?
Tennis site work and the tennis courts and the
Yeah,
lighting.
pickleball,
Yeah,
and our
all of the
pickleball
projects.
courts to be, hopefully we should be doing a ribbon cutting proposed when?
By the fall of this year.
By fall of 2025.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Do I have any more questions? So before I call for a vote, I just want to give my 2 cents on this. I fully understand Councilmember Green's concern. I really do. I will say that what I heard from Assistant City Manager Lindsay is if we hold this off for a week, the construction on the building will still happen. It will still be going on, but the construction on the tennis courts will be held back a week, maybe 2 weeks, who knows. So I don't see how a week will make a difference. If we do not approve it, then there will be no tennis courts if we don't approve it. So I'm not here to fight. I'm just here to say that I'm not in support of this. So Councilmember Benavente, I'm sure you have plenty to say. I'll go to you.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're being accurate. You know, if the city manager, assistant city manager says it's going to take a week to then say it's going to take 2, maybe more, who knows, I think is irresponsible to say. I think to then suggest that it's just not going to happen at all is even more irresponsible to say. The only person that is speaking about fiscal responsibility at this point is Councilmember Green, which is why I'm supportive of her effort. So let's take our time, measure twice, cut once, as they say, when it comes to projects that we've already sort of blundered very publicly. To suggest that somehow it'll never get done if we measure twice and cut once, I think is the kind of irresponsible language that got us to this point.
So before I call for the vote, with that being said, if we don't give the money, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to call for the vote. All right, that we have one more person. All right. Is that everybody? Yes. That fails 6-3. So I will go to Councilmember Davis. Doing great, Lauren.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. At this time, I would like to make a motion to adopt the Capital Project Ordinance Amendment 2025-43 to appropriate the $1.9 million needed to allow staff to execute the change order with M&E Contracting Incorporated.
I got a second from Councilmember Hondros. Nope, I'm sorry. Do I have a second? Okay, I have a second from Councilmember Thompson. Councilmember Hondros, I'll go to you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I wanted to see if my colleague would accept a friendly amendment. Our colleague, Councilmember Green, made reference to some additional information which is on this page. Can we add that to the CAM? Would you accept a friendly motion to add this to the CAM in your motion? Or I can make a separate motion after.
Yes, I would like to add that. I can add that for you, sir. We can add that we receive all information that's pertaining to this, brought back to council, and put inside of the CAM for this project. Thank you.
Councilmember Thompson, are you good with that?
Question on the motion, Mayor Pro Tem. City Manager, is it, I guess, allowable for that information to be put in the CAM?
I think that's the attorney.
Council Member Thompson, I'm sorry, my memory is escaping me tonight. It is appropriate. There won't be another CAM. If this passes tonight, it won't come back to council, but we can certainly put it in the record.
Second motion, Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Hare, question?
I don't know if I think the question is that, and I don't think my microphone is on at this time. Jennifer, you are missed over there.
You're doing great, Lauren.
Jennifer,
You're
you are
doing
missed
great.
over there. Okay, I'm pressing.
Press your button.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Now, questions were asked. I think that there are very, very good questions for this issue because we really are trying to move these items forward. They've been in a holding pattern for a few months. So, what my only concern is, I would like to respect that the information that was given to us upstairs, which, as was just stated, would not even be a part. I mean, I know it has been amended in the motion to be a part of the motion, and I want to make sure that the puller of the motion, your number one concern now is the change work order request breakdown form that we received tonight. If you would have had that earlier, as you stated, you would be okay for this evening. Is that, you still feel the same as you stated upstairs?
Had I had it earlier in time to review.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I would have been.
So we do have this amended into the motion for an up or down vote this evening. My only request is, as we start to proceed forward, not only on these items, the three items that we have that we're dealing with this along this project, that any time that we, and I know it's been asked for before, but any time we have additional information that needs to be with an agenda item, let's do our very, very best to get that. And this is something, I've been hearing since I've been on council. Let's get that information before, the night's proceedings. Let's have it up so that we would have this opportunity to study it, to answer questions to the residents that have questions of us, so that we can move forward a little bit quicker. So that's my only concern. I appreciate it being a part of the amended motion, but let's please, what is this, the 10th of February, 2025, let's have everything that we need before us and not brought to us a few minutes before our public meeting. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All right, that passed 6-3. All right, 9.0, reports from boards and commissions. We will start off with the annual report, Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recreation Commission. And I think Mr. Smeltzer is here from this. Mhm. Good evening.
Good evening. What I have done is, by the way, I'm Harold Smeltzer. I'm the Fayetteville County Parks and Recreation Advisory Board Chair, and I'm very excited because we have a great group of people this year, and they are really acting positive in things we got going on. So what we have done is I made a copy of everything we've done.
Mr. Smeltzer, you have to give it. I got it. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
And right in the center of the page, when you read it, I want you to notice we have something underlined that our commission is really excited about. So when you read it, you'll understand what we're talking about. Excuse me. Once you get done reading, if there's any questions, just sure to ask me, because I think that's the easiest way to handle it, instead of standing here and talking a long time. And we're very excited about our tennis thing, too, and we hope it gets worked out to where we can have it, because we're getting a lot of people talking to us about it and want to know what's going on. And we just say it takes a little extra time to get things done that we want to get done. But I just wanted talking about the commission. We have had some new people come on, and I'm really excited about their attitude. And I think we're going to have a great year in 2025. So, any questions about what we got done in 24? Did you all read the center line?
We haven't gotten there yet. We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
We have a new policy board, so we
I'm
are.
sorry.
We are.
But just take a moment
dotting
and read
our
right.
I's
If you
and
want to,
crossing
just
our
take a
T's.
moment and read what it says right in the
Okay.
center of that page. And if you got a question for me, I'll give it to you.
If you wouldn't mind, Mayor Pro Tem. Sir, do you have this?
I do.
Please read what you are asking us to read aloud so the audience can all hear it, please.
What we're asking about is submitting a letter regarding the need for an aquatic center to Fayetteville City Council, the Cumberland County Commissioners, the Cumberland County Board of Education, the District of North Carolina City Board of Directors, and this is a high on the list of priorities for the advisory board for this commission, and would serve many beyond just a round place to swim, but serve as an array of ways to make city money. And I appreciate your time. Let me be here tonight. And if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to. But listen, folks, we need aquatic center. I mean, you all are doing great, but we do need aquatic center.
So thank you for your report, and I do want you to know, back, I think it was in October, we had our city-county liaison meeting right here in this room, and the county said that they were going to take the lead on that. We all sat and talked, and they said, no, they were taking the lead on it. So we have heard you. I cannot think of one person up here that is not in favor of it. I can't think of one person in the past 12 years that I've been up here that is not in favor of it. But we're all trying to be fiscally responsible, and, we just have to find the money. And the county is saying they're going to lead it, and we are in with them. So I just want you to know that it is not a dream that's not going to happen.
Fantastic.
And things happen when, as you grow, things happen.
Yeah. And by the way, the reason I bring that up about the aquatic center, the county has really come to us and started, wanting to get more information. So we finally got that moving. So
it's part of the process.
We got the county moving. So all I guess what we got to do is push behind them a little bit, keep them moving. So, but I'll guarantee you folks that I will stay on and try to do the best we can, because I want to see it happen. Because that's something we really need. And everything else we've got is going great. So sometimes we get set back just like a tennis court. But the thing about it is you just got to shake off the dirt and move on and carry on. But I'm done.
Exactly. Please stay up there, because I have Council Member Banks McLaughlin that would have something to say.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I was going to say thank the Parks and Recreation Board. I know when I served on a few years ago, that was the ask, and they did submit a letter, and it was brought forth to council. And just like Mayor Pro Tem mentioned, that the county said that they were going to take, take responsibility. So thank you for just being consistent. But yes, it's been a working process. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Councilmember Benavente?
I think everybody wants the aquatic center, it's just nobody wants to pay for it. So, the county having twice the budget of the city, I'm really hoping that they do take the lead on the aquatic center and probably also with operating our parks and recs on behalf of the city moving forward. So I think if you guys are living under them, you guys will have much more of a direct access to their $600 million budget, which again is twice the size of ours. So I think that's going to be an opportunity for you guys to do a lot of that growing. The second that you guys are in a much better position to do so. So I look forward to that for you.
Fantastic. Any other questions?
Councilmember Green?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to thank Mr. Smeltzer. He and I have known each other for a very long time. We won't talk about how long that would date us both, but anyway. I serve for the city council right now on that advisory board, and it is a pleasure to go. They are all passionate about what they're doing, and I want to see this aquatic center also, along with all the other projects that we have going on, completed. I think it's important to our community and to the taxpayers, and they're just all doing a phenomenal job, and they all enjoy serving on that committee. So I just appreciate the work you're doing, Mr. Smeltzer, and we appreciate it.
Councilmember, do we need to do a vote to accept the report?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Green, would you like to do the motion for that?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the report submitted by the Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission.
I have a second from Councilmember Davis, and I look for you for your vote. Thank you so much, Mr. Smeltzer. How long have you been serving on that board, on and off?
Oh, probably about 15 to 20 years.
Well, thank you for your...
What it's all about is about the kids. It ain't about us.
Yep.
They got to keep the kids moving and keep you're doing something besides sitting down. Personally, I don't think they should have a phone, but I think there's better activities. When we grew up, all of us we grew up, we didn't have a phone, but we learned a lot of things. But anyway, y'all have a great
some were
evening.
good,
And,
some
by
were
the way,
bad.
Hey, great win, but go Wolfpack.
Thank you. All right. We will go to our next report is the Firefighters Local Relief Fund. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. My name is Jason Davis. I am with the Fire Department. I'm here representing our local Firefighters Relief Fund Board. Start off with just a little bit of history of what it is. The Firefighters Relief Fund was created through legislative action in 1907 to ensure firefighters that were injured would not become destitute. Funds for the Firefighters Relief Fund come from a tax levied on insurance policies in the state. Each county in the state receives a portion, which is then divided between the eligible departments there. These funds are designated to be used only for purposes specified in law. Using these monies for non-approved purposes jeopardizes eligibility for future disbursements. Over time, some changes to general statute have allowed the local firefighter relief funds to use funds for other purposes. Our fund is managed by a board consisting of 5 people. North Carolina General Statute 5884 dictates that 2 seats are elected by the fire department members, 1 is appointed by the state fire marshal, and 2 are appointed by the city council. Currently, we oversee a supplemental retirement plan that provides a yearly stipend to our retirees. Any firefighter that retires in good standing with at least 20 years of service is eligible. Each year equates to 1 share, with the value of a share based on funds received that year. Besides the retirement fund, the local relief fund board also receives occasional requests from active personnel that need financial assistance for various reasons. With some requests that come through for our board to consider are automatically approved with board approval, while others that meet certain criteria have to be approved by designated personnel with the North Carolina State Firefighters Association. Examples of allowed expenses are costs incurred to manage the fund. Firefighters' membership dues are expenses that would be approved with permission from the State Firefighters Association. We are required to submit financial reports by the end of October annually to the North Carolina State Firefighters Association to maintain eligibility. This ensures a layer of oversight that protects the board and provides accountability to an outside party. As part of this process, the state maintains a surety bond that ensures the Firefighter Relief Fund and the local funds as a whole. Currently, the local Firefighters Relief Fund holds some funds in accounts at Truist. The bulk is held in interest-generating annuity investments that keep our retirement fund solvent. As of this submission, we have $206,121.79 in our accounts at Truist and $1,459,273.23 in our Woodman annuity. With that, this is the time of year that we make disbursements to our retirees and pay our membership dues to the State Firefighters Association. So after these disbursements will go through very shortly, there'll be about $13,300 left in our Truist account. The current and retired members of the fire department appreciate the city and the council's roles with this board and look forward to your continued support. And if there are any questions, I will do my best to answer them.
All right, Councilmember Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Chief Davis, I don't know if this is a question for you or for the city manager, but Captain Shakeshaft has posted about the firefighters getting screening for cancer. I think that's a necessity for all firefighters. Does those funds come out of the relief fund, or where do those funds come from? I didn't get an opportunity to talk with Chief Duff about it.
I'll jump on that. If you could come forward, Chief. Yeah, it was a great event last week. It actually got me to get tested as well with the firefighters as well. And here we go, the man of the hour, if you could.
Good evening. Thank you for that question. That money actually came out of our budget. It came out of the general fund. We budgeted for that in the FY25 budget, and this was the first year that we've actually been able to implement those cancer screenings.
Were all firefighters able to get screened?
Yes, sir.
Is
We
that
do have some makeups that need to be done, but we're getting those taken care of.
And how often does the screening need to take place?
So annually, we do physicals once a year. They start in the beginning of the year, and it takes about a couple months to get everybody through in 2 phases. And as long as we continue to keep it in our budget, we'll be doing the cancer screenings annually.
Yeah, Chief Ferguson, it was an amazing event. He put it on. We had great media coverage. But as he and others would say, thank you to the council for the extractors that we have, the washers, the extra turnout gear. And this just continues to show that Fayetteville is a leader as it comes to taking care of our firefighters and the potential cancer risks that they also have.
Can we make sure we emphasize that come June, Mr. Manager? Don't let me forget. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all very much.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I appreciate it, and thank you so much for everything that you do. Public safety is a big part, number one priority for a lot of us, so thank you. Yes.
I move that we accept that report.
Okay, can I get a second? All right, all those in favor? A second by Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. All right, that is unanimous with those present. All right, we will go to the public hearing part. City Clerk, I do not see where we have any speakers for this public hearing that we have coming up.
Hold on. No, ma'am, we don't have any speakers for this item.
Okay, so I'm good?
I believe
All right,
you'll have to
Mr.
open
Coley?
and close you'll still have to open and close the public hearing.
She's right.
I knew I didn't know. So I am opening up the public hearing, and I am now closing the public hearing. Welcome.
All right, that's
good?
it. Yep. Thank you.
Am I good, Benavente? I was going to let you speak. Yeah, I was, and then I was going to. Okay.
Yeah. So just really quickly,
I didn't have a speaker.
It's
Turn
totally
me off.
normal. We don't do these things all that often. This is an IRS requirement for a nonprofit educational institution to buy some property here in Fayetteville. They issue bonds that don't affect the city's finances in any way, shape, or form. But part of the IRS requirement is for the jurisdiction who's in charge of that area to say that this is something, that is okay in our community. And so will be educational bonds issued. There's a lot of detail in the memo. And then I believe I got somebody from Parker Poe here who's the attorney representing the borrower if you have any questions. But if not, Mayor Pro Tem, the public hearing is required. We don't have anybody signed up for it, and I believe we've opened and closed it at this time if the attorney and clerk are okay with that.
Am I good?
Yep.
Okay. So what further action do we need to have? We're good?
So there's a motion in the item to conduct the public hearing and then approve the authorizing resolution.
All right. Can I get a motion? I see Councilmember Benavente.
I move to enact the city staff's recommendation to move forward.
I see a second by Councilmember Davis. Any discussion? All right, I call for the vote. I'm missing one person. Okay, that is unanimous with those present. All right, the next thing we're going to is other items of business. Assistant City Manager Phelps, and this is great news, and I'm very excited for everybody in the audience to hear this. It's been a long time coming.
Me too. Give me just a second to get the presentation up for you. Okay. Good evening again, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. I am here tonight with Mr. Brooke Redding, and we are equally as excited to share what we hope will be something you are excited about it to expand our partnership with Fort Liberty. As the largest neighbor to the largest military installation in the world, we understand the value of our partnership with our military neighbors, and we are always looking for opportunities to be a good neighbor, and this is yet another example of that. If you recall, we first discussed this at the October work session, and I'm going to go back over, for the interest of you all and for our audience, sort of a really brief overview of how we got here and what this means. And then Mr. Redding's going to come up and talk about the specifics of the solid waste agreement for Fort Liberty. So an intergovernmental service agreement is a win-win for the military installation and for the partner. There are a ton of benefits for both parties. The Department of Defense estimates that across their more than 85 what we call IGSs across the United States, they've achieved approximately a 30% cost reduction across that portfolio for the installation. Really what it allows them to do is to focus on their mission of defense, and for us to help create efficiencies for them to strengthen our community. For the partner, which is us in this case, it really looks to job creation. It looks at creating what could potentially be long-term a new revenue stream for the city. But most importantly, it reinvests, and this is what the installation is really important to them. They're reinvesting in their military host community, which is us. And for us, it will help build our staff capacity too. So a brief history of where we are, we started exploring as a city what our potential IGSA partnerships could be back in 2013. That's more than a decade ago. We entered into, in December of 2013, we entered into an agreement with the installation to provide janitorial services at ASOM. And then we added in May of 2021, we added grounds maintenance for ASOM as well. And of course, as you know, we also have a partnership with them for a long-term lease for the construction of the MacArthur Sports Complex on MacArthur Road. So the direct benefits of our IGSA program to the city is, one, it builds staff capacity. That revenue stream for the city allows us to grow our staff and grow our capacity in a way that allows us to reinvest back into city services and city operations. Most importantly, it has an opportunity for expansion of our IGSA program to provide other services for the installation. The IGSA program growth over time in a long-term strategy is additional revenue growth for the city. But what's really important to us, to me, and to being the largest neighbor is to build and strengthen the city's military affairs and our intergovernmental relationships with the installation, which is something I know that has been very important to council over time. So a brief history of how we got to where we are today. So back in October, well, before October, the installation came to us probably late spring last year and said, hey, would you even consider doing this? We know we've talked about it before, but now we're real serious about it. And Fayetteville and Fort Liberty are the largest installation in the world. You are the biggest neighbor. We need to make this happen here. We've got it at a lot of other installations across the United States. This is our flagship, and we need to make it happen here. So staff did an extraordinary amount of research, meetings, conversations, due diligence to say, can we make this work? So we came to you in October with the concept of providing solid waste services across the installation. It's something we know we do really well here, and I know Daniel and Sheila are back there. They do an extremely good job for us. We know how to do that. They are leaning to us to say, you do it well, help us do it even better. Council provided consensus to proceed with exploring that partnership, and so in November, we issued an RFP for solid waste collection to find out the who, what, where, when, and why, what the cost is, how do we do this, who's out there in this space. We reviewed those proposals in December, and by January, we were able to identify a contractor, a highly qualified contractor, while at the same time working with the Department of Defense and the installation to finalize what that intergovernmental service agreement would look like. We're here before you today for your consideration on that. We hope, if you approve this in your February 24th meeting, we will bring back a contract for the solid waste service provider, and Brooke can talk a little bit more about that, with the goal of in March of 2025, the city via the contractor would assume solid waste collection on the installation. So I'm going to step to the side and let Brooke talk a little bit more about specifics.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. So this agreement really ensures a sustainable partnership like Jody spoke to by balancing cost predictability and the flexibility to adjust our service needs. So a few things I'd like to highlight about the IGSA from the top. It's a 10-year renewable nature of this agreement. So every year we recycle through it. It does have a $6 million base cost just over it. I believe it was $6,008,000 and a few dollars, with a 5% CPI-based increase calculated in, so up to 5% increase. It also has provisions in it that allow us to adjust that cost for service adjustments such as tipping fees, operational changes, and other things that really reflect the flexibility in the service delivery with our contractor we're pulling in. The total so what here is that it really does reduce the overall installation's cost to Fort Liberty while increasing our capacity. It's also designed to, the IGSA was actually designed and its performance statement of work with an understanding of the operational needs for Fort Liberty on commercial waste collection, addressing all the components required for these efficient services. It ensures that it has both routine and extraordinary services needs are covered, and so we have pulled in, like Jody spoke about, with this incoming contractor. The contingency on-call contract you see there highlighted. That's a secondary contract we're working on pulling in, so in case of our current contractor we're coming in should be unable to meet mission, we can bring them in on call. It also covers direct management costs for our staffing to manage these contracts along the IGSA and maintain relationships with Fort Liberty, as well as indirect administrative costs based on our standard methodology within the city. Great thing to highlight, and Jody spoke to that, was the benefits to the economy. So right now, we anticipate this creating somewhere above 20 different positions across that contract for services and a few within the city. That growth is important as it's using local individuals and residents, as well as providing and purchasing equipment and other systematic pieces to their operations. The contractor is with a commitment to hiring locally. They also have a commitment to the acquisition of locally sourced goods and services, to include tipping, and a contractor commitment for supporting Fort Liberty, North Carolina, and the local community overall. In closing, I'd like to say that we are seeking your approval to formalize this strategic partnership with the IGSA, and it represents a significant step for us as a city and with Fort Liberty. Pending your questions.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I was ready to make a motion to approve if there's no questions.
Okay, Councilmember Thompson. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you for the presentation, Brooke and Jody. I just want to make sure we get this right when it deals with Fort Liberty. I'm pretty sure Colonel Milton needs all the help he can to make sure they sustain their capability of deploying to and fro, and these are some things that they don't have to worry about. But some logistic questions that I have is, I know it's going to be via contractor. Will the contractor have the capabilities of our solid waste department capabilities, and do we have a liaison or a oversight person to make sure that everything is done correctly? I.e., I know Mr. Edwards and his solid waste department, they have cameras, they have videos, they have telephones, they have their drivers writing down on what can be picked up and what can't be picked up. They have a thorough, educated system, and I want to know, is he going to be intermingling with this contractor to make sure everything is done correctly?
So the short answer is yes. Mr. Edwards and the Solid Waste Division are part of this project as we stand up the cyclical operations to manage these contracts. From the city side, we will have oversight, we'll have quality control, and ensuring that Fort Liberty receives the quality and value that they're paying for in terms of their commercial waste collection. On the contractor side, they do have the same or similar capabilities that our solid waste division has. While we focus on residential waste, they're focusing on commercial, but they still have the same tracking and data management systems, or similar to, that we have here in the city.
I just have one other question, and I'm going to refer to the city manager with this. Coming from Fort Liberty, I don't know if you remember or not, Mr. Hewitt, but I called you one morning because I found the trash truck driving down 295. And all his trash was blowing off the back of his truck on the 295 expressway. Have we talked to the contractor about what overhead protection they're going to have when they use any highway getting to and from the landfill? So that's, because I know the city doesn't have that problem because they're not on a major route, but will the Fort Liberty have that problem?
To answer directly, sir, they have provisions inside of our performance work statement that was submitted in our RFP. They will have preventative measures in place on their vehicles to prevent spillage and things tipping over, in addition to us having a reporting system with DPW, the Department of Public Works on Liberty, that contracting service, and our quality control management team here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember Thompson. Before I go to Councilmember Hare and then Davis and McNair, oh, I have more. Okay. Before I go to Councilmember Hare, what I wanted to talk to Assistant City Manager Phelps, I know that this has been a long process, and I know that, you know, sometimes you work on things, and then you find the right moment, the right opportunity, and it happens fast. And I want to give kudos to staff because it did kind of happen fast, but they were prepared for it. So with this agreement, so the gentleman that we spoke to out at Fort Liberty where was he from?
I believe he was from Fort Moore.
Fort Moore, and
Benning.
just to give the audience and our citizens kind of what this really means is what they do, I think the number was about $20 million that goes back to the neighboring city there.
Something in that neighborhood.
It was something around that neighborhood. So this is just the beginning of us doing an interlocal contract with them with the waste management part of it. This will also go to construction, plumbing, changing out roofs, anything that happens on Fort Liberty, we are going to have an opportunity to be partners with. And people all over the United States were doing this, and us being the largest neighbor to the largest military installation, we're not. So this is one of these moments that we have gotten at the table and can maybe, benefit. And thank you for becoming part of Fort Liberty, both of you, to making things like this happen. So I'm very excited about it, and great work. So with that being said, I will go to Councilmember Hare.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thanks for the project. We're glad to finally be here. And I'm hoping that we get a positive return with it. What my concern is, sometimes even within the city of Fayetteville, we will have a maintenance breakdown, okay? Sometimes within that maintenance breakdown, it may not be resolved that day. And I've seen where we've had other contractors helping our contractors in one neighborhood, because I've had them in mind. My question is, what do we have, what is the backup
Sure.
with these contractors if there are breakdowns across the board? And will their backup include the city of Fayetteville, or will their backup include other contractors as their backup?
That's an excellent question, and Brooke can maybe speak a little bit more to this, but I do want to say that we had great returns and proposals submitted from the RFP, and we've identified a potential contractor that does this across the nation at installations. And so they are very familiar with military operations. They're very familiar with this. They're a small minority-owned company. They know what they're doing. But, we don't know what we don't know, and to your point, there's no one better to mitigate risk than the man standing to my right here, and to think about every potential opportunity that we want to be a good neighbor. We don't want to be a bad neighbor. So we want to make sure we provide excellent service, just like Daniel and Sheila do. And we've included in the price of the contract a performance bond, but we've also included that on-call contract that Brooke spoke to, that individual, that additional contract would be ready within 24 hours notice to pick up should our primary contractor have a failure or whatever might happen, right? We don't know what we don't know. I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yep, sir, I believe Jody hit it right on the head. So our first year of service, we have within the contract 100% performance bond to protect ourselves as well as the installation. In terms of being able to pick up, they have several they have several layers of equipment and preparedness to be able to react should they have vehicles go down. We will not be picking up commercial waste as an organization to address that directly. The Solid Waste Division does phenomenal with their 63,000 times 3 pickups they do a week, and we will not be going on Fort Liberty with our trucks and personnel and equipment to pick up their items. The on-call contract is a contingency contract. We're working through that process now to put it in place to protect, but those are our risk mitigation factors. There is one other layer put into the structure of the contract with Zero Waste. It's called liquidated damages, and so if they miss collections or cause damages, they fail to meet the collections they're supposed to, our team of quality control and value management will, when they invoice, return back to them, structured very similar to how we have our contract for recycling with Mr. Edwards and his team, where if they don't make the collections, we don't pay for them. So we're protecting and insulating ourselves on the risk side in terms of loss of service, but also to the contract and Fort Liberty paying for those services.
Thank you. And that sounds great. And I'm just praying that it moves as is stated. when we first, well, not when we first, but there was a problem at one time, and I don't know if it's called an app that we use now, where we know where our trucks are. We know if the truck missed a location without the driver coming back, maybe giving us some paper or where he has written it down or anything along that line. Is that a part of the scope in the RFP? Do you all write those kind of things along with the same kind of question that I just asked? And the reason I say this, I mean, we know this is a big deal because it's a big deal locally right here in Fayetteville, if there are breakdowns, so we want to make sure that kind of is in place. So will we be able to know that I think we know that with the city of Fayetteville now?
Sir, we do. So the Solid Waste Division uses a software platform called FleetMind, and then that's connected through GPS locations, cameras, and all of that. I cannot speak to the exact system that Zero Waste will have, but in their proposal to us, they do state the different components they use to track and manage equipment, as well as standby equipment and on-call equipment to cover down on routes and other pieces that are missing. In terms of us tracking and managing their daily collection points or their daily equipment of vehicles, I don't know, and we haven't had that discussion with them at that granular level, but our team that we're putting in place will be managing and making sure that those routes and those collections are met to the tune of $1,300 a week.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and it sounds good, and I'm only asking because we have been faced with those kind of concerns right here in the city of Fayetteville over the years. From time to time. So it's good to see that we do have the software, or they have the software that's going to be in place so we can have a quicker turnaround.
And sir, when we bring that contract back, we'll be happy to point those specific systems out to you too. So we're aware. But Daniel just reminded me that they do have a software included in their proposal that they returned.
Great. Thank you. Thank you,
Awesome.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Councilmember Banks McLaughlin?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you for the presentation. I think this is great news as far as partnership. I was a little upset that it's just residential because my question is for what partnership or maybe something in the future as far as 295. I know part of that is Fort Liberty and the other part I think is the state, but it's always excessive trash. I mean, I've seen mattress and right now it's trash out there, and it definitely takes time for them to respond. So,
Yes, ma'am. I believe you're talking about the 295 corridor extension that runs kind of as a beltway around Liberty and north of us.
Correct.
That's NCDOT's roadway, and I can't speak to the details of it, but having the work we've done with them over the past few years, I know that they have active contracts that control the litter of that area. As a staff, we can reach out and talk to some of their program managers and see what frequency they're operating at, but I can remember and reflect back to the pandemic when they weren't able to get teams out there. So I know that they have active contracts, and we'll return back with a little bit more detail on how often they do that, but we don't control or oversee that connection.
right. So I was just hoping in the future, just like we're partnering with the interlocal agreement with Fort Liberty, maybe we can do something like that with NCDOT. Thank you.
All right, with no other questions, I will go to Councilmember Davis.
No, I'm seconding your motion.
She's seconding it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Davis? Oh, okay. He's doing great.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I move to approve the IGSA transaction document with the FLNC to initiate the management of the solid waste services on the installation and direct staff to bring the service provider contract back for approval.
I have a motion by Councilmember Davis and a second by Councilmember McNair. Any discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. All right, that is unanimous. With that going, I will go to Councilmember Benavente for administrative reports.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I just move that we move 12.01, 2, and 3 to the work session during the first Monday of next month, our typical work session for March. In particular, with our Cool Springs Downtown District, I think we got some commentary from folks speaking today. So I certainly encourage, folks on this council to perhaps connect to find out more, either from the speaker or from Cool Springs on that issue, because perhaps we can get it resolved during that work session. Thank you.
I have a second from Councilmember Davis. I'm sorry, Councilmember Banks. I know, okay, that is fair. Councilmember Banks McLaughlin second that, and then we will go, do we have discussion? You'll be all right. Okay, I'll look for you for a vote. I'm missing someone. That would be Councilmember, okay. All right, that is unanimous, and now I have a motion to adjourn by Councilmember Davis and second by Councilmember Banks McLaughlin. Thank you.